It is John Gibbons from the Anfield Wrap. We're in Philadelphia. We are very high up. We're in a fantastic hotel, and I'm here with Jarell Quansah, who's very kindly given us some time today to chat. Jarell, top man, we appreciate your time. I know it's a busy schedule, lots of training and stuff like that, but yeah, appreciate a bit of time today.
Yeah, no worries. Always a pleasure. Yeah.
So I want to go all the way back, if you don't mind, because we did a piece of content when you first broke through, when we talked to some coaches and teammates of yours sort of on the way through. So I'm going to get your side of the story if you like us all to go through that. But first of all, just joining Liverpool as young as you did must have been an amazing experience, an amazing thing, because you were in the under nines team, but maybe going from even earlier than that. And I remember being in school and a kid that get a trial for Liverpool, and that was exciting, and they didn't even get in, but to sign, that must have felt unbelievable.
Yeah, at that point in your life, it's mad, to be fair. I think I remember playing one of my first games for Bristol Rovers at the time. It's my local Sunday league in Warrington. And getting scouted from there, then I must have been five or 6 years old from then. And yeah, from 5 till 9, it's just about enjoying football really. Then obviously at 9 you have to choose the club that you want to play for, because there's a few clubs that are lingering about and stuff. But yeah, for me it was always Liverpool.
Yeah, because where you grow up, there's rules around catchment areas and stuff like that, but you've got huge clubs either side. You know, I won't ask you who you did turn down, but you know, it's good for you that you had this sort of choices. So what is it about Liverpool that made you go, no, that this is the one?
Yeah, well, my family's from Manchester, so it was always probably easier to go somewhere in Manchester and stuff like that. But the training and how enjoyable I found Liverpool, I was always adamant that it had to be Liverpool, and that was me coming from when I was 5 years old. So it says a lot about the club in itself, and a lot about the coaches at that point in my career really.
Yeah, you talk about the coaches there, and one of them, Barry Lutus, we've spoken to, and I think he was the manager under 12s. He's under 23s manager now, so you'll have had a long relationship with him. He talked about you striding out when you were 11 into midfield and pulling your sleeves up and stuff like that. But you know, it's great, isn't it, to have someone like Barry who's always been there from day one, who I'm sure still gives you sort of advice when you need it and encouragement as well.
Yeah, so many coaches I've had through the years have still stayed in touch with me to this day. There's a lot in like first team coaching roles now who still keep in touch with me and stuff like that. So it's always good when the coaches really invest time into you. And I think with Liverpool, that's what it's given me so much. And yeah, like you say, with Baz, I've known him since 12s when he saw me running through. I was a bit shyer at that time, and bit of a quiet kid, and when he first saw me, he probably saw that and thought, bloody hell.
I wasn't expecting that.
I weren't expecting that, but yeah, I've always loved doing them type of runs, to be fair, and I'm glad he could have been part of my journey.
You're obviously really impressed, not just at a Liverpool level from an early age, because you've been really involved in the England setups, and I'm sure that helped you when we're getting the call up for the World Cup preliminary squad as well. How big are those experiences for you? Because you've won tournaments. You've been away, and Ian Foster was another one who we spoke to, who was your manager then. But it's funny with you, because when you broke through, you think, a young player and experience, but actually some of your experiences that you've already had, you know, with England, with Liverpool, getting to the Youth Cup final and captaining that team and stuff like that, you actually got quite a lot, you know, behind you that I'm sure must have really helped when you did break through to the first team.
Yeah. I was never a wonder kid. I was never like a person who's like stormed onto the scene and was highly talked about, but it never really mattered for me, to be fair. I've been in, like you say, with England. I've played with Jude Bellingham and Jamal Musiala, and I was in that age group, and there was so much talent. Always under the radar, but always pushing. So it was never about any of that for me. It was just trying to play the best footy I can, and ultimately it's about the destination I'm trying to get to, and yeah, I'm on the road to doing that.
Yeah, I mean, Ian was so complimentary about you on and off the pitch. He said how impressive you were sort of on the pitch, but off it as well. Is that something that you're sort of conscious of when you're around these situations and you're coming on these tours as well? You're thinking, you know, you want to conduct yourself in the right way, be professional, show that you kind of, you know, you're taking yourself seriously as well, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. You got to show your character, I think. before you step on the pitch, a lot of people make judgments about you and see what you're like as a lad first, and then they can really trust you on the pitch. I think being able to show who you are and what you're about to the team, and therefore they'll sort of trust you on the pitch and give you the license to play and understand you as a person as well. When the going gets tough, they know how you react to stuff, and you got to prove that to some of the senior players, and trips like these are always good for that.
I'm sure going out on loan as well, that was a big part of that. And you went to Bristol Rovers. We spoke to Paul Coots, who was your captain, and he said he had to give you a few fines in the early days just because you were getting used to the systems and stuff like that. But often, he was saying it, you get a young player and everyone's like, oh, is this kid going to be, useful to us, or is it going to be like a young lad who you have to almost kind of look after a little bit? It's League One level. Are you conscious of that and thinking, like, I need to go in and show that I'm tough enough to play at this level, but also that I'm going to, add to the team? And you were getting picked from day one, so you must have done that. But was that something you were conscious of? Yeah,
there's a lot of points you have to prove, I think. A lot of the sort of perception on academy players is, like you said, are they tough enough? Are they ready? And you got to go in straight away and got to forget that who you play for. You don't think about, I'm a Liverpool player. At the time you're a Bristol Rovers player, and that's what I had to do. Really, I had to just take every session as it came and show the levels that I was capable of, and again prove myself to the players that I was worthy of starting, and sort of like they could rely on me and they need me at the end of the day.
Yeah, he said your first game got beat 5-0. Paul says you played well. Yeah. He said you did all right, but that must have been a bit of a crazy experience. You're thinking, what am I getting involved with here? Like, because it's real football, isn't it? And it matters. And Paul said the managers are only ever 4 or 5 games away from the sack at that kind of level, really. And so that must have been a bit of a kind of an eye-opening experience. That
it was a crazy game, like you said. Personally, I thought I played well. It might sound a bit mad saying after conceding 5, but it's a crazy experience. And at that time, knowing that you can have a good game and still get beaten, still you're not really sure of like what your level is, and there's a lot of doubt that can creep in, I'd say. But again, it's just about the coaches at the time at Bristol as well. They pulled me through it and helped me out, saying a lot of encouraging stuff, and look at the bigger picture, really.
How much did you learn and grow literally, I guess, at that kind of year? Because I'd known about you for a while. We cover the academy, and so especially if a team gets to the FA Youth Cup final and you were captain and doing a few interviews around the time and things like that, which must have been quite interesting. So I knew about Jarell Quansah, but then it was last season in Singapore when we were out there, and suddenly, I was like, are you sure that's him? You were sort of bigger, and just how well you were playing as well. How much did you get out of that year to give you the confidence to come away with the Liverpool pre-season and not just play, but really thrive?
Yeah, it was so good for me. I think the ability to play with seasoned pros, play against real tough strikers, because in League One, there's a lot of players who have played in the Premier League and sort of dropping down to the latter end of their career. So you're still playing against really tough opposition. So having games and dealing with sort of adversity and going through so much, like you say, building strength on yourself, being more durable, it all helps in the long run. And I think from that season, I knew I was sort of going to get an opportunity with the first team. With the pre-season, and so I thought I've got to give it everything, really, and that's what I did, and I just had to take everything as it came. There's probably in the back of my mind I was probably thinking another loan just to make sure I'm really ready and proper strong, but football's taught me that anything can happen at any moment, and you just got to stay ready, and I was always ready for the opportunity, and I'm glad I took it.
In terms of how well you did on that last tour, and then it's very quickly, maybe quicker than anyone thought you were in the first team. Is that something that you're able to speak to the even younger lads than you sort of on this trip? Really, is that these pre-season tours are about a lot of things. Obviously, it's playing in front of fans around the world. There's commercial stuff that you guys are doing, but the serious business on the pitch is about getting ready for the season. But in your case from last year, showing that you're someone who the manager can use. And I guess for the other young lads or the other ones who are even younger than you out here, you're able to pass that message on, saying, no, this can be big for you, like it was for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of talented players in the academy, and they a lot of the time need an opportunity, and that's all you need as a young footballer. You just need the opportunity to be able to play in sort of these type of games, and especially because of the Euros happen and the Copa America. I think on this tour I've definitely spoke to a few lads, and they've just got, I think they can be inspired by a few of the lads' stories, and they can relate to mine, and I think if he's done it then I can. And I think it's more of an example for the youngers that, like I say, anything can happen, and if they keep working hard, they can achieve their goals at the end of the day.
So we knew how good you were from last year. I don't think many of us were expecting Newcastle. How was that experience? I have to ask you about it, because we're down to 10 men. It's a tough game, and then suddenly you're getting the nod to go on there. It's a huge stadium, a passionate stadium. I mean, do you allow yourself to think about it all, or are you thinking, I just need to focus on heading the ball away? Because it was a tough game for us, being down to 10.
Yeah, it was a weird one, because obviously Verge got sent off, and we only had 2 centre-backs on the bench at the time, and so I knew I probably weren't going to be the next one who came on. So I was thinking, I probably still won't get on in the first half. But then as the game went on, you sometimes get a gut feeling, and I started getting a little bit of butterflies, and I was a little bit nervous. Probably for one of the first times in my career, to be fair. But as the second half kicked off, I was just ready. That's all I can say. I was just waiting for the opportunity, and in whatever way it came, I was happy that I could get on the pitch and just show what I was capable of. Because at the end of the day, we've been working hard for 15, 16 years of my career already, and yeah, to be trusted in that moment, I can't thank Jurgen Klopp enough for that opportunity as well. But yeah, to be trusted and through into such a game with such stakes at the time, yeah, I'm so grateful.
Just one more. I know you've got to go to a meeting with the manager, and I don't want to get you in trouble with him, certainly with the new guys sort of coming in, but you talked about there about 15, 16 years, and it is such a journey. And when we see a young player come through, we think, they're just sort of starting. But for you, it is a process. What does it mean for you to be able to call yourself a Liverpool player now? Because I always think it does mean a little bit more for the guys who've sort of come through. I know Tyler Morton was the same. He was in your team all the way through. So I guess it's nice to have him alongside you on these trips. But if you can, describe, for those of us who will never know, I think I've given up now. Yeah. What does it mean for you to call yourself not just a Liverpool player, but a first team player?
Yeah, it's one of the highest honours you can call yourself at the end of the day, I think. Obviously I've been at the club since I was 5, and I've been going on tours year after year, and just seeing how big it is across the world from then on. Knowing everyone wants to beat Liverpool, we're always the biggest game that people play, and people are always out to get you, and you're always getting judged by other top clubs, and that alone just shows how high Liverpool is as a club in the world. And as you can imagine, as a fan, how passionate the fans are. I knew that from a young age as well. I used to go to a lot of the games and ball boying and stuff like that. So you can see the passion from the fans. So for me, it's just the love of the game, trying to implement that myself. And it's just, when I was younger, I've always loved the game. I've always loved football. So I'm just trying to, every day I can, just show why I wanted to be a footballer from young.
You've done incredibly well. The best is yet to come, man. It's going to be a real, privilege watching your journey. But we appreciate your time today, top man.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.